Let's bring in our good friend. You guys know who it is. The man, the myth, the legend. Covers the Detroit Lions for Sports Illustrated, the entertainer, the podcaster, Lone Wolves Podcast.
Hashtag podcast.
He does it all. He has his own YouTube channel, which you guys can subscribe to. Link to check out his stuff will be in the description. Please welcome to the show our good friend, John Maakaron. Hey, what up? The DOC, how we doing?
Fellas, yeah. Nobody loves the bye week more than the DOC. Oh, my goodness. Slept in this week till like 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, my goodness, man. It was amazing to catch up on some sleep, and I'm having a good time listening to some content regarding the Detroit Lions. Now the Pistons and Wings are starting. There's a lot of good stuff going on, man. It's a good time, too. Lions are 5-2. All is right in the world after that Chiefs loss.
Hey, Doc, are we sure you're not going to go on the boat with Za'Darius and Cash Doll? Is that a rumor that you got invited, or is this something that we just are finding out about? What's going on with this?
Yeah, man. Look, he saw a little bit of the taste of the football life. He's like, no. I'm telling you, this is why vacation's bad for Doc. When you're a guy that works hard and you get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you start working, start typing, and then you start sleeping in, you're like, man, should I start retiring? But no. Listen, the Doc, Cash Doll, and Za'Darius can't hang with me, man. If they partied, they would be burnt out pretty fast.
Wow. Well, Doc, I do want to start off by asking, there's a lot of shit we want to get to with you today. I mean, we have the bye week. We got the Bucks game on Monday. I do want to talk a little trade deadline as well. I think it's going to be some good conversations, especially with you, Mr. Ad, which I think is a great content for today. But let me start by let's start with the Bucks game. All right. The Lions won in primetime. The defense shined. What was kind of your takeaway on what Kelvin Shepard did with this secondary against this Bucks team in this defense, and kind of just the job Kelvin's been doing so far, and maybe the differences between him and Aaron Glenn this season for you, Doc?
Yeah, man. First of all, look, I'll be honest. I did a prediction, and like most of my staff, I picked, because I know on paper the Lions are better than the Bucks. I picked the Lions to win, but quite frankly, I did not respect the defense enough. Quite frankly, I thought that the Bucks had getting Evans back, Egbuka. I thought that the Buccaneers would have a little bit more success. I picked the Lions to win, clearly because they're the better team. I'm not certain why anybody would pick the Buccaneers with all their injuries, and knowing that it's a home game at Ford Field, knowing that the Lions don't ever lose back-to-back games. It's been since 2022. So going into that game, I was fairly confident, but we have to really take a step back and appreciate what Kelvin Shepard's doing. We all joke, and we all joke around when Dan Campbell, some people roll their eyes and say, when he says next man up, and that's why people legitimately for so long freak out when there's so many injuries. But listen, I think it's time to turn the page and say, you know what? Let's credit this coaching staff for preparing players below starters. I mean, you got guys like Nick Whiteside contributing. You can't ever sleep on Amik Robertson. You can't sleep on Thomas Harper, Rock Ya-Sin. These guys are guys that want to compete, and they respect the message from Kelvin Shepard, which is, hey, this might be your chance to cash a check. This is your one shining moment. Go out there and ball out. And even though most people thought the Buccaneers were going to score multiple touchdowns, man, let's credit Kelvin Shepard for what he's done. Listen, he's already in the conversation to be a head coach. It probably won't happen next year, but I would say that don't get too comfortable with Kelvin Shepard. I think he runs the defense this year and next year. You might hear his name in interviews right after this season, because if you listen to Amik Robertson's podcast, he really said it. It's like the scheme is similar. There's obviously some different variations to tailor certain schemes and calls to the players. And clearly the former linebackers coach is having the linebackers dominate, which is amazing. But one thing that Amik Robertson said was that he's just, the way in which he relates to players, he challenged Amik Robertson to be a better version of himself than he already was. And he did that to a lot of players. And I most certainly did it with the linebackers. He's challenging these guys to take ownership of this defense. And man, it's just a pleasure to watch. I love watching a team that can pressure the quarterback at that rate. You'd love to see more sacks, but hey, the way in which this football team bats footballs down, punches the football out, what you're seeing is I think what Aaron Glenn was able to do was to install the defense, get them to understand it. And now when you have a new voice in the room in Kelvin Shepard with just a couple tweaks, adding a couple more zone concepts, the way in which they blitz from different angles, the stunts, the ownership that he's given to these players, you're seeing a next level version of this defense. It's beautiful to see. We need to give the defense credit for stopping Baker Mayfield. Season lows in a lot of numbers. And I was just sitting there marveling at the game going, wow, the Lions defense is actually carrying this team in a way that can help an offense that's still kind of having a couple games where they're not firing, man. It's just amazing to see. I love it. When I go back and hit the clicker on the film this morning, even though I'm a sicko, I should do other stuff. I'm sitting there watching Alim McNeill get all those pressures early, looking like the Alim McNeill of old. I'm seeing Amik Robertson battle, punch the football out. It is amazing to see a team that can have a defense live up to the expectations that we've all had for them.
Yeah, Doc, I mean, we can get back to the defense a little bit later, kind of the nitty-gritty of the defense. I do want to just get your thoughts on this offense, especially the last 2 weeks. We talked about it yesterday that obviously on Monday night, offense didn't look as, where you kind of want it to be or where we've seen it be, through weeks 2 to 4-ish or 5. What are your thoughts on this whole offense right now? D-Mont kind of struggling a little bit, J-Mo struggling a little bit, and kind of getting into that whole thing with this offense right now.
Yeah, look, I thought about this because I knew we would talk about the offense, and I was looking at that when I was watching film and looking at it holistically. Let's take a step back. Remember, the Lions are playing a tougher schedule in regards to the teams that they're facing. They're playing a first-place schedule, being that they won the division last year. These teams that they faced with the Packers and the Ravens and the Chiefs and now the Buccaneers, they have defensive-minded coaches that are really excelling at trying to pick apart the Lions offense. They're doing things to try and take away the run. You look at it from just a basic perspective. If you look at the Lions, Dan Campbell always wants to run the football. So you're seeing a lot of stacked boxes. You're seeing a lot of attention given to, getting as many bodies up front as possible to stop the run. And they're saying, okay, Jared, just try and beat us. We understand that you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, but they're trying to take away at least Jameson Williams in the deep threat, and they're trying to stop the run. So it's not always going to be pretty for Jameson Williams. But, of course, there are things that John Morton can do better. It's a offense that can get better, which is amazing. But first and foremost, let's start with the positive. Jahmyr Gibbs is a legend. He's emerging as the Alvin Kamara that we all want to see. And if you're Dan Campbell, I think you ride the hot hand, man. It's a different thing because of the fact that he's got that speed, elusiveness, and he brings the juice. It's just a little bit different style of runner than David Montgomery. David Montgomery is facing all these stacked boxes, and he's got to, battle to get back to the line of scrimmage. It's just a different style. Now, also remember, you have to credit Todd Bowles. You have to credit Steve Spagnuolo. These guys are expert at what they do, and John Morton is still 7 games into this second run. He's got all the weapons, but it's not going to be finely tuned all the way. That's why this bye week came at a perfect time. It'll get better. Most notably, I think what you guys are maybe seeing too is that on third down, they're not as good. After turnovers, they're not scoring as many points. There's a lot of what they call empty drives where they're not getting points. A lot of self-inflicted type stuff where they start a drive with a penalty and stuff like that with Taylor Decker coming in and out of the lineup. So this is great. They're 5-2 with stuff to work on. And yeah, more mouths got to be fed. And I do believe that if you get David Montgomery going against some defenses that aren't as good as what you faced, you get Jameson Williams more than 2 targets. These are things that clearly John Morton, when he's sitting at home going, okay, what do I got to fix? He's got 3 more mouths to feed. And just imagine when the rhythm with Sam Laporta gets as consistent as it can be with David Montgomery. By the time they hit the Dallas and the Steelers game and the Giants, they're going to be kicking ass again, and I'm very, very excited. But to your point about J-Mo and Montgomery, look, man, Montgomery's just dealing with the challenges of facing defenses that know what's coming. They stack the box and say, go ahead, try and beat it. And luckily, they were able to maneuver and credit Morton for scheming that touchdown, man, with the blocking scheme and how Amon-Ra St. Brown was able to clear out and get one of the linebackers to over pursue. It was a beautiful play design. Go watch it again. It's just beautiful to see Jahmyr Gibbs hit the hole and boom, he's gone. And It was amazing. Literally, I'll tell you the experience. I was sitting in the press box. I see the play happen, and I got the little goosebumps because I was in the stands when Javid Best back in 2011. I was sitting there as a fan, and I remember the roar come over me, and I just kind of felt it. I had to kind of calm down a little bit. I almost said to myself, wow, it's like I tweeted deja vu. I literally felt the same thing just watching him hit that top speed. It was amazing. It was just a pleasure to watch Jahmyr Gibbs get a home run in front of the home fans. It was awesome.
Oh, hey, didn't catch you there. Let me tell you about our friends over at Manta. With the Manta Pro Sleep Mask, which is a fully adjustable, ultra-comfortable sleep mask that delivers 100% blackout and breathable side sleeper friendly design. I'm a side sleeper. I ordered this about a week ago. It came in. I've been using it, and I've gotten some of the best sleep I've ever gotten. Because I know you guys are tired of waking up before your alarm because the sun's hitting your face. Well, the Manta Sleep Mask Pro blocks out every bit of light, so you can actually stay asleep. If you can't sleep because of street lights, early sunrises, or your room just isn't dark enough, this helps. It's fully breathable. I sweat when I sleep. It helps out tremendously. 100% blackout. Adjustable eye cups, breathable, cooling materials, which is all ventilated. And you guys can go to the website and use the code CRUNCH to unlock 10% off your purchase. You can also grab different accessories to go along with it. It's the best. I can't believe I just started using a sleep mask. It's a lifesaver. So appreciate them for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to it.
And remember too, Jared Goff, this engine goes as Jared Goff goes. He can play better, and he will play better. I still think that, teams are pressuring him. They're coming from different angles. They're testing the young guards. And there are times where, unfortunately, Taylor Decker is not at 100%. He's battling out there. So you can get better plays. You can get, this is what's so beautiful is if you had me on the show 7 years ago, we would be complaining that they lost that game. We literally are in a time where the Lions can get 5-6 key injuries. Their left tackle is not 100%, and they're still playing efficiently and effectively. It's just an amazing, amazing time. So I've taken the last couple weeks to say, yeah, I have complaints, and yeah, I always worry, are they Super Bowl caliber? But right now in the bye week, in a moment of white, pure reflectiveness, 5-2 is a great spot to be in right now. It is, truly is.
Yeah, I mean, Doc, it's a good spot to be in right now, despite even offensively, there's maybe not putting up all the yards in the world, even though they still had over 400, almost 400 yards against the Buccaneers. I think a question to ask you, and you kind of alluded to it, is Taylor Decker. What's kind of been your evaluation of him? They decided for him to play. It seemed like he was injured throughout the game. It seemed like he was battling that injury. What has been kind of your takeaway with this whole Taylor Decker thing? And do they need to be extra careful with him? Because this is a guy that if he goes down, Giovanni Manu's already out for the year, and Dan Skipper, is always a little banged up. But what do you think of the Taylor Decker stuff?
No doubt about it. And really fast to your point, my man Stevie W, I get paid to talk. They have me on because I can formulate thoughts in an
This is true, by the way.
This is what I do. I talk for a living. I literally became a media member off of the word. So yeah, I can talk for, I'm trying to say when I first started the YouTube channel based on the advice of my fellas here, I was like, I should do 30 minutes. Then I just start talking and an hour and a half goes by and I'm talking about 5-6 different things. Yeah, bro. I was a quiet soul up until I was 30 years old. And once I discovered that I have a voice, yeah, I'm a talker. And so much so that over the last 2-3 weeks, I've been drinking tea because I've been losing my voice. I've been talking so much, never turning down an interview. And really, I'm humbled that the guys give me the platform. I know it gives them a break a little bit to listen in and to get some inside information and kind of decompress from their long days and stuff like that. So I appreciate it too. And with Taylor Decker, man, he's a grinder. He is an absolute warrior to go out there and want to battle, but he's not 100%. And thankfully, this bye week will, I think, help him to be able to continue. And Dan Campbell said, look, he didn't have his best game. Clearly, Taylor Decker was mad. He's a perfectionist. He doesn't want to give up pressures. He doesn't want to have plays broken down because of things that are not crisp along the offensive line. But, whew, you know what? Take it as is. Appreciate what he can do. Appreciate the fact that he's battling to be out there. And you could argue an 80% Taylor Decker is still better than Manu and Dan Skipper. So, yeah, it's listen, this team can be easily carried by the defense. You just need the offense not to turn the ball over. You need them to eat the clock a little bit. And this offensive line will get better throughout the course of the year. You're seeing growth from Mahogany and Tate Ratledge. Penei Sewell is an absolute warrior. So for Taylor Decker, it sucks because, Dan was asked on Tuesday, are you concerned? He's like, he's battling. He's going to, they're hoping that the way in which they handle it with him with limited practices can keep him afloat. But yeah, you're absolutely right. For those in the chat that wonder, this could be his last ride, but hey, let him go out as a winner and let him go out and battle and be out there. Remember too, he just turned 32 years old. So time flew by. Remember, he was a Bob Quinn guy. So he survived some eras, and give him credit for battling and wanting to go out there to help this football team. And listen, over the last 3 years, when he said, he really got pissed when guys like me and others said trade him. And for me, I said trade him because he was an asset, and you felt like, hell, you needed more talent. And he was a guy that you could potentially want to see have success and get some assets for him. But he took offense to that, like, that he wanted to be part of something special here. And you can see the way he leads. He's open and honest. And he's actually a very nice talk. When you talk to him, he's open and honest. I asked him, it was great. He gave me a great answer. Almost made me laugh when I asked it, because you have to ask it, but he knew what it was right away. I asked him when they faced the Bears, I said to him, it's on camera too, it's funny. I asked Taylor Decker, I said, listen, there's a lot of people that give Ben Johnson a lot of credit for this offense. What do you say to those kind of people that give him that kind of have said that this offense, the success of the offense is based off of Ben? And he's like, I don't really know what a lot of people are saying on the outside. He goes, I don't really mess with speculative gossip. And I almost started laughing because I roll all up in speculative gossip. That's the business that I'm in. So it was funny in the way he said it, but he's like, we got talent here. We do a lot of good stuff too. And, he's open and honest, and he calls a spade. And that's what you respect from a guy like that.
Doc, another offensive player I just want to ask about Jameson Williams. The whole situation about that, kind of more in depth. I see Jeff laughing. Jeff, what are you laughing about?
No, nothing.
No, go ahead. Share with class. This is a fun night tonight. What's so funny?
Well, Doc kind of went into JMO a little bit.
I know, but I just want to get more. I mean, maybe if Doc did, I just want to get a little bit more in depth here with the Doc. Is that fair, Doc, or no?
Yeah, absolutely fair.
I mean, there was the post, all of that going on. I mean, I'm not saying I ever think JMO would get traded or anything, but there's fans that are out here actually throwing that out there. More in depth, Doc. Talk to me about JMO.
Yeah, no doubt. It's listen. Wide receivers are a unique bunch. They're like podcasters. They're like people like me that we just flourish and just share our feelings sometimes way too openly. Everyone wants to know what was that about? Like, I get it. He probably at the base level is not happy with the game with 2 targets and no catches. Now, you look at it and you say, at the very basic level, there was more for him, but the plays just didn't work out. And you also got to remember that the formulation of a play is not just drop back, throw the ball, and he's open. Some of those plays involve certain blocks. Some of the plays involve with Jared Goff, which is tough, is Amon-Ra. You see the difference. Amon-Ra is literally, I'm going to use the word, don't laugh, chat. This is a word that means stringent. I'm going to try not to laugh myself. Amon-Ra St. Brown is anal. And what that means is he will run a route to the exact point over and over and over and over again, and will catch a ball from Goff over and over and over again to the point where they know where each other's going to be. Like Jared Goff can mind, just kind of look, and Amon-Ra is going to be where he needs to be, and the timing is just flawless. It's a little different with the deep threat option where you're throwing the guy open 15 yards down the field. Now, I do believe the fair assessment is he's being misused. You can use JMO in a lot of different ways. You can hand him the ball. You can, is it wrong to throw him a dig route, a slant route, put him in the slot? Is it wrong to just throw him a variety of routes that you said he could do? Similarly to Amon-Ra St. Brown, it doesn't have to be as frequent because clearly Amon-Ra's the guy. The relationship that he has with Goff will never be topped. It is, 1 and 1A. They think alike. They're California guys. They're in tune. It's amazing. It's just Amon-Ra's number one. He's getting paid the most. He gets the most targets. He is absolutely the guy. For Jamo, you got to get a little more creative to scheme him open. You got to take those deep shots, and what really opened my eyes was I watched diligently on Sunday. I don't know how much you guys watch football when the Lions aren't playing, but I watched from 1 p.m. all the way till 11. And I saw that beautiful game between the Eagles and the Vikings. And the commentator said it, and I know it too. The Eagles, the Vikings are a team that takes away the deep ball. That is their specialty. They don't let a lot of players go over the top. And what do you see? Devonta Smith, like literally John Morton should just go to the Eagles tape and watch what Devonta Smith did against the Eagles. What Devonta Smith of the Eagles did against the Vikings. He was open. He was schemed open. They used the run action and the run to set up deep plays, even though it's against a Brian Flores defense. Sometimes you have to find ways to get this guy more involved. And I know, listen, you got to take those deep shots. That might also help David Montgomery, where the threat of the run or the pass is a little more unclear for these defenses. But, look, first and foremost, those deep passes will happen. They're going to take those shots eventually. But to me, I feel like if you're Jamo, you got to tell, like, boss man, hey, John, get me involved in the offense early in the game with some pitches, some end arounds, some opportunities to run the ball. Like, get the ball in my hands, and I can be a similar Jahmyr Gibbs type playmaker in this offense. I think it'll happen. It's I don't say the things that people say, well, too many mouths to feed and things like that. No, I'm like, this guy should be in the mix. It should always be Amon-Ra, Gibbs, and Jamo. You don't pay a guy $25 million to block. It's a great asset that he does it. You pay him to do it. But this guy can be a weapon. This guy can get you yards. There is no speed like him. So you got to get creative, and you got to get as anal with Jamo as with Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got to get on the same page, and I hope they do. And listen, if you're Jamo, it's just not going to play well to put those memes out there. Everybody knows, man. It's unsaid. Listen, we know it. Everybody on the Lions is competitive. We all know if you get 2 targets and no catches and no yards, you're not going to be happy.
Right.
But there's no need to do it publicly. People say, well, Jamo's matured and that's not mature. That's not something that you need to be doing. That's something AJ Brown does. That's something all the divas do that are wide receivers. We all know naturally, let the idea of assumption be that if you get 2 targets and no yards, you're going to be pissed. Like, you're a competitor and everybody's upset with it. So you don't need to put boredom emojis or sad emojis online at 5 a.m. in the morning, because all that's going to do is just draw attention, because a guy like me has to write it and we got to talk about it. And you don't need all that smoke. It's just not needed as a professional. Part of being a professional is sometimes letting things that everybody knows, don't put it out publicly. And I think that's where, Jamo's still young, and, the influence of social media. You don't need to do that. Like, everybody knows you got 0 target. You got nothing. You did nothing. Nobody would expect you to be happy. Go out there, and then the next game, get with Jared Goff and make it so that this offense can get you some targets. And I think it'll happen, but there's going to be more games like that. But what is it? I think if you guys accurately look it up, he's only got 17, 18 catches this year. That should be almost double, in my opinion.
I've interrupted the video to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper in the new promotion they have going on. A brand new promotion is now live on Sleeper that could be paired with the 100% deposit match promotion that's already been going on. It's a free $20, no deposit required, plus first-time users will also receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Use the code CT Sports. You guys should already be using Sleeper. It's one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the entire world, with millions and millions of active users. They are crushing it. And if your state allows it, you should be using Sleeper Picks. It's a real money product that connects friends over picks. You just choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame live or across different sports. Pick more or less than the predicted stats. And on Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends. Get rewarded together. Don't forget, code CT Sports. Get a $100 deposit up to $100, and you got your free $20 entry. Sleeper is taking care of their customers. Always remember, gamble responsibly. Now let's get back to the video. Yeah, Doc, I think a big, you talked about the defense earlier, but I think the return of Alim McNeill was massive. He obviously looked great. But can you talk about the importance of having him back and how good he looked? Because he kind of cut into Tyleek snaps and DJ Reader snaps a little bit. So you're going to see more of a rotation with him in the lineup. But what do you think him being back means for this defensive line that's already playing really well going forward?
Absolutely. And then really to your commenter's point, Steve, I just told you the Vikings schemed to take away the deep ball and the Eagles overpowered it. It can be done. It don't do that. Oh, we take what the defense gives us. That's what happened against the Packers. If you're proficient, you can do whatever you want. This offense, and trust me when I say, with the level of talent that they have, when everybody's healthy, they can do whatever they want in any variety. That the offense that you saw against the Ravens, the Bears, and the Bengals, that offense is there. It's all about execution and timing, and it's about the Lions. This is a spot now where guys like Steve and those in your chat have to realize this is a different era. This is not we're going to take what the defense gives us. No. This offense with the capabilities they have, you have the pieces to do whatever the hell you want. You want to throw it deep, go do it. But you got to set up plays correctly. You got to have the right sequencing. You got to have the right execution on every given play. And also, when Jared sees a stacked box, he's got to check into the right play, and then JMO has to do it. So what I'm saying is it's intricate. It is very detailed and very, very exquisite. And it takes time to potentially get revved up to that point. But don't tell me, oh, well, Tampa 2 and all that kind of stuff. If you say that, then guess what? Jameson Williams is going to be the highest paid blocker in the history of the NFL. That's not going to happen. He will get his love. Trust me. The yards are coming. The dances are coming. This offense can do whatever the hell it wants. And Jameson Williams will be a part of it. Trust me. There's no way he'll be happy to live with that. And then on the other side, you get Alim McNeill back. That's like a free defensive tackle addition. My goodness. It was, I actually, in my mind, it's interesting. You can kind of see now how I think. When Dan Campbell talks scheme, I'm starting to not believe him anymore. Like and actually I'm starting to read it too. When he said, and I have not a way to report it other than I say a little bit on the podcast. When Dan Campbell said, I want to get more balance between Jameer and David, I didn't believe him. I said, why? I said, run the ball through Jameer. I just kept saying the opposite. And it's true. Dan is just lying in the media. It's great to see. He is doing the gamesmanship type stuff. It's hilarious when you're so in tune, you can see it. When he said Alim McNeill was coming back for 20-25 snaps, I was like, I could see 30. I could see more, but I didn't expect over 40 snaps. They just brought him back in and he was ready. So it goes to show you that when they trust you to go, you go. And what a beautiful addition, man. Batting balls down. The skill level that he's got, he really is underrated, worth the money that he got. He brought it. What you see defensively is, man, which is what you love when you're hitting the clicker. The attention that he gets opens things up for the linebackers to do their stunts and their runs and to get open. It's amazing to see the puzzle come together and to open up for guys like El Quidine and for DJ Reader. DJ Reader's flying around out there. So, what a addition. It was awesome. It was amazing to see him back. Good for him. And I like talking to him. He's always open and honest, and he's easy to talk to. And man, what a great addition. What a welcome sight to have Alim McNeill back. It's going to be great. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get back on the field for game number 2.
Yeah, Doc, I want to just ask, heading into the bye week now, what are some things you're looking for coming out of the bye? Obviously, 5-2 before the bye week with the new coordinators. I don't know if a lot of people expected that, but a great record heading into the bye week. Obviously, you need a lot of guys to get healthy, especially the secondary. But what are some things you're looking for, and what guys do you expect to be back coming into this Minnesota Vikings game?
Yeah, man, it's amazing, man. It's going to be fun with the bye week. You heard Malcolm Rodriguez should start practicing, which should put his timeline to return in November, which is great. I expect him to practice for a couple of weeks. Clearly, Davenport will probably end up being around practice, but in a couple of weeks, but won't play until later in November, which is going to be just fine. Players that you're hoping to return, Josh Pascal, you got to wait and see what his situation is. What I'm interested too is Wingo is healthy but can't get on the field, and that's a wild thing to say when you got Roy Lopez basically stole his time. He's been a healthy scratch for the last couple of weeks. So Terry Arnold is probably on the track to get back. I expect him to be back at practice this week. Yet to be seen about Minnesota, but he practiced, so I do expect that there's opportunities potentially for him to get back against Minnesota. And then what's great is that I think the game after is the Commanders. You probably will get back DJ Reed. So my goodness, the plethora of guys coming back, is going to be amazing. And you get Brian Branch back for free, which is great after the suspension. You hope Kirby Joseph knee. You hope that whatever has been causing the irritation or whatever's been causing the continued injury and stress, you hope that it calms down over the bye week and he's able to get out there. It hurt him to miss time, but my goodness, man, the secondary that they put out there did the job. They forced turnovers. Mollett got an interception, I believe, and you had a punch out from Amik. And my goodness, it's going to be a little bit different challenge with Justin Jefferson, but I can't wait to see what it looks like when the Lions take the field the next time. Over the bye week, a lot of it's going to be rest, and the blessing of what Dan said is going to be giving the guys, like the coaching staff, some assignments to get some guys a little bit better in terms of consistency and to scheme up some things that will probably help out. I'm sure that the tape of the Chiefs can continue to be reviewed and learned from, so that you don't get picked apart in the zone. The offense, has to be crisper on third down, has to get the running game a little bit more creative. And I think overall, you could clean up so much stuff that it's just going to be great when they take the field again against the Vikings. I think there's a big, big chance they're going to go 6-2.
Well, Doc, now we're sitting here, 7-8 weeks into the year. Lions are 5-2, Packers are 4-1, Bears are 4-2. What do you think of this NFC North right now, with the Bears winning 4 straight, Packers continuing to win? How do you look at this kind of NFC North for the rest of the year and how it lines up? Are you still confident in what's going on, or you think it's going to be a little more difficult than fans anticipated?
I hope the fans listen to what was written on Lions on SI and what we said here. The NFC North is one of the best divisions in football. There's opportunities that every team has, ebbs and flows, but you got quality coaching. Clearly, Ben Johnson's message is resonating. And, I know his post game is a little bit corny, but they're bought in and they've won a stretch of games. That's a good sign for them. The Packers obviously dealt with an injury, and when you lose a Spartan dog like Jaden Reed, it changes the dynamic of your offense. It has not evolved the way in which I like, but the defense, Micah Parsons is doing his thing to carry that team. They don't get a lot of style points for their play, but it's going to be competitive. And the Vikings game will be also very competitive. But, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, the edge goes clearly to the Lions. And I always believe that when you have a team that can pressure the way the Lions do, Carson Wentz it could make some careers, meaning that Amik could get an interception. If Rock Ya-Sin gets an interception, Brian Branch, listen, here's the thing. Brian Branch is coming back. If he takes it the right way, we could be seeing an unleashed Brian Branch, now 24 years old, pissed off at the world, lighter in the pocket by $200K over the course of his career with all these fines. It's amazing to see the solidarity that all his teammates had. If he doesn't come back and get an interception, something's wrong. He's gonna ball out, or he's gonna pop someone on the Vikings, and hopefully it's Addison, because that guy's getting a little too comfortable out there. Even though Addison's on my fantasy team, my goodness, I can't wait to see the Lions try to stifle the Vikings. But guys, the division's tough, and that's why the success that the Lions have had, winning it back-to-back, has been remarkable. And listen, every division game is one in which the Lions focus on even more than other games because they know the value. And after losing to the Packers, beating the Bears, the Vikings game is going to be circled and everybody's going to pay attention. But yeah, Carson Wentz is going to jack up that team. Carson Wentz is going to hurt the Vikings and help the Lions. I'm excited to see it. I would say my bold prediction for that game is Carson Wentz don't even finish that game. The Lions are going to make him look silly, and they're going to make him so confused and so devastatingly challenged that he's not going to finish that game. And I can't wait to see it. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the success of the Lions and the way in which they can win a lot of different ways. They can win a grinded out game. They can do so much. I expect the offense to get better, and the defense is going to I think have themselves another good day. How do you not build momentum off of that? You got confidence that your reserves were able to pressure and do some things. Bring it again, baby. I can't wait to see part 2.